The 8 worldly conditions, also known as Lokodhamma in Pali, are fundamental aspects of worldly existence that individuals commonly experience and encounter in their lives. These conditions encompass pairs of opposites, 4 pairs in total, that reflect the dualistic nature of worldly existence. According to Buddhist teachings, attachment and aversion to these conditions can lead to suffering and hinder spiritual progress. Here's a deeper exploration of each pair. 1. Gain labha and loss labha are 2 of the 8 worldly conditions Lokodhamma in Buddhist teachings, representing the dualistic nature of worldly existence and the experiences individuals encounter in their lives. Gain labha, acquisition of worldly possessions. Gain refers to the acquisition or attainment of material wealth, possessions, or status that individuals seek to acquire for their perceived benefits or advantages. This includes wealth, property, possessions, fame, social status, or achievements in various domains such as career, education, or relationships. Desire and attachment. The pursuit of gain is often driven by desire and attachment, as individuals seek to fulfill their desires for comfort, security, and happiness. Through the acquisition of worldly possessions, attachment to gain arises from the belief that possessing wealth, status, or possessions will bring lasting satisfaction and fulfillment, temporary happiness. While gain can bring temporary happiness, pleasure, or satisfaction, it is ultimately impermanent and subject to change, decay, and loss. The happiness derived from worldly possessions is fleeting and conditional, as it depends on external circumstances and is vulnerable to loss or change. Role in worldly pursuits. Gain plays a central role in worldly pursuits and aspiration, as individuals strive to accumulate wealth, possessions, and status in pursuit of happiness, security, and success. However, the pursuit of gain can also become a source of competition, comparison, and conflict, as individuals seek to outdo others or measure their worth based on external markers of success. Loss labha, experience of deprivation. Loss refers to the experience of losing or being deprived of worldly possessions, wealth, or status that individuals value and seek to retain. This includes financial setbacks, property damage, loss of possessions, or the dissolution of relationships. Emotional impact. Loss can have profound emotional and psychological impacts on individuals, leading to feelings of grief, sadness, disappointment, or insecurity. Individuals may experience a sense of emptiness, vulnerability, or uncertainty when confronted with the reality of loss. Attachment and aversion. The experience of loss can trigger attachment and aversion, as individuals struggle to accept or come to terms with the reality of their situation and resist letting go of what they have lost. Attachment to past possessions or experiences can lead to clinging and sorrow, while aversion to loss can lead to resistance and denial, impermanence and acceptance. Like gain, loss is characterized by impermanence and change, as worldly possessions, wealth, and status are subject to loss, decay, and dissolution. Acceptance of loss involves coming to terms with the impermanent nature of worldly conditions and cultivating resilience, adaptability, and equanimity in the face of loss. In Buddhist practice, gain and loss are seen as part of the cycle of worldly existence, samsara, and are considered to be ultimately unsatisfactory and impermanent. Practitioners are encouraged to cultivate non-attachment viraga and equanimity upekkha towards gain and loss, recognizing their impermanent and ultimately unsatisfactory nature. By cultivating inner peace, contentment, and spiritual virtues, individuals can transcend the influence of gain and loss and progress towards liberation, nibbana. 2. Fame yasa and disrepute yasa are 2 of the 8 worldly conditions Lokodhamma In Buddhist teachings, representing the dualistic nature of worldly existence and the experiences individuals encounter in their lives. Fame yasa, recognition and social status. Fame refers to the recognition, praise, or social status that individuals receive from others due to their accomplishments, talents, or contributions. This includes being well known, respected, or admired by others for one's achievements, skills, or qualities. Desire for recognition. The pursuit of fame is often driven by the desire for recognition, approval, or validation from others. Individuals may seek fame as a means of fulfilling their egoic needs for attention, admiration, or social acceptance. Social influence and power. Fame can confer social influence, power, or authority, as individuals who are well known or respected may have a greater impact on others and be able to influence public opinion, decisions, or behaviors. Temporary satisfaction. While fame can bring temporary satisfaction, validation, or pride, it is ultimately impermanent and subject to change, decay, and loss. The satisfaction derived from external recognition or social status is fleeting and conditional, as it depends on others' opinions, and is vulnerable to fluctuations in public perception. Disrepute, ayasa, lack of recognition. Disrepute refers to the lack of recognition, praise, or social status that individuals may experience due to negative perceptions, failures, or mistakes. This includes being unknown, ignored, or criticized by others for one's actions, behavior, or qualities. Stigma and criticism. Disrepute can involve facing stigma, criticism, or condemnation from others, as individuals may be judged or rejected based on perceived flaws, shortcomings, or failures. Disrepute can lead to feelings of shame, embarrassment, or social isolation. Social marginalization. Individuals who experience disrepute may face social marginalization or exclusion, as they may be perceived as unworthy or undesirable by others. Disrepute can impact one's relationships, opportunities, and sense of belonging within society. Impermanence and acceptance. Like fame, disrepute is characterized by impermanence and change, as social perceptions and judgments are subject to fluctuations and shifts over time. Acceptance of disrepute involves coming to terms with the impermanent nature of social status and cultivating resilience, self-compassion, and inner worth independent of external recognition. In Buddhist practice, fame and disrepute are seen as part of the cycle of worldly existence samsara, and are considered to be ultimately unsatisfactory and impermanent. Practitioners are encouraged to cultivate humility, equanimity, and inner peace, recognizing the fleeting nature of fame and the superficiality of social status by cultivating non-attachment viraga and contentment santuthi. With one's inner qualities and virtues, individuals can transcend the influence of fame and disrepute and progress towards liberation nibbana. 3. Pleasure sukha and pain dukkha are two of the 8 worldly conditions lokodhama in Buddhist teachings, representing the dualistic nature of worldly experiences and the fundamental aspects of human existence. Pleasure sukha, enjoyment and satisfaction. Pleasure refers to the experience of enjoyment, satisfaction, or happiness that individuals derive from pleasant sensory experiences, favorable conditions, or fulfilling desires. This includes physical sensations of pleasure, emotional states of joy or contentment, and mental experiences of well-being or satisfaction. Desire and attachment. The pursuit of pleasure is often driven by desire and attachment, as individuals seek to fulfill their desires for comfort, enjoyment, and happiness through the gratification of their senses or the attainment of favorable conditions. Attachment to pleasure arises from the belief that experiencing pleasant sensations or conditions will bring lasting satisfaction and fulfillment. Transient nature. While pleasure can bring temporary happiness, satisfaction, or enjoyment, it is ultimately impermanent and subject to change, decay, and cessation. The happiness derived from pleasant experiences is fleeting and conditional, as it depends on external circumstances and is vulnerable to loss or change. Role in worldly pursuits. Pleasure plays a central role in worldly pursuits and aspiration, as individuals seek to maximize their experiences of pleasure and minimize their experiences of pain or discomfort. However, the pursuit of pleasure can also become a source of attachment, craving, and suffering. If individuals become overly attached to sensory gratification or external sources of happiness, pain, dukkha, suffering and discomfort. Pain refers to the experience of suffering, dissatisfaction, or discomfort that individuals encounter due to unpleasant sensory experiences, adverse conditions, or unfulfilled desires. This includes physical sensations of pain, emotional states of sadness or anxiety, and mental experiences of stress or frustration. Aversion and resistance. The experience of pain can trigger aversion and resistance, as individuals seek to avoid or escape from unpleasant sensations or conditions and resist accepting the reality of their situation. Aversion to pain arises from the desire for comfort, security, and happiness, and the fear of experiencing discomfort or suffering inherent in existence. In Buddhist teachings, dukkha is considered to be inherent in the nature of conditioned existence, samsara, arising from the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of phenomena. All beings experience various forms of dukkha, including physical pain, emotional distress, and existential suffering, as they navigate the challenges and uncertainties of life. Impermanence and acceptance. Like pleasure, pain is characterized by impermanence and change, as sensory experiences and emotional states are subject to fluctuations and shifts over time. Acceptance of pain involves coming to terms with the impermanent nature of sensory experiences and cultivating resilience, equanimity, and compassion in the face of suffering. In Buddhist practice, pleasure and pain are seen as part of the cycle of conditioned existence, samsara, and are considered to be ultimately unsatisfactory and impermanent. Practitioners are encouraged to cultivate mindfulness, equanimity, and non-attachment towards pleasure and pain, recognizing their impermanent and ultimately unsatisfactory nature. By cultivating inner peace, contentment, and spiritual virtues, individuals can transcend the influence of pleasure and pain and progress towards liberation, nibbana. 4. Praise, prasamsa, and blame, ninda, are two of the 8 worldly conditions lokodhama in Buddhist teachings, representing the dualistic nature of worldly experiences and the fundamental aspects of human interaction and perception. Praise, prasamsa, recognition and approval. Praise refers to the admiration, approval, or compliments that individuals receive from others for their actions, behavior, or qualities. This includes expressions of appreciation, recognition, or gratitude for one's accomplishments, virtues, or contributions. Desire for validation. The pursuit of praise is often driven by the desire for validation, affirmation, or acceptance from others. Individuals may seek praise as a means of boosting their self-esteem, enhancing their reputation, or satisfying their egoic needs for recognition and approval. Social esteem and validation. Praise can enhance one's social esteem and validation, as individuals who receive praise may experience feelings of self-worth, confidence, or satisfaction. Praise can reinforce positive behaviors and qualities, motivate individuals to continue their efforts, and strengthen social bonds and relationships. Vulnerability to flattery. While praise can bring positive reinforcement and validation, it is important to discern genuine praise from flattery or insincere compliments. Vulnerability to flattery arises from the desire for validation and approval, and the tendency to seek external sources of happiness or self-worth. Blame, ninda, criticism and disapproval. Blame refers to the criticism, disapproval, or reproach that individuals receive from others for their actions, behavior, or qualities. This includes expressions of judgment, condemnation, or fault-finding for perceived mistakes, shortcomings, or failures. Fear of rejection. The experience of blame can trigger fear of rejection, shame or embarrassment, as individuals may feel criticized or devalued by others, and fear social disapproval or ostracism. Fear of blame arises from the desire to avoid negative judgments or consequences and maintain one's social standing or reputation. Opportunity for reflection. While blame can be uncomfortable or painful, it also offers an opportunity for self-reflection, growth, and learning. Constructive criticism can provide valuable feedback, insights, or perspectives that help individuals recognize their areas for improvement, overcome their limitations, and cultivate self-awareness and humility. Cultivating resilience. In Buddhist practice, practitioners are encouraged to cultivate resilience, equanimity, and non-reactivity in the face of blame. By cultivating mindfulness and discernment, individuals can observe their reactions to blame without becoming overwhelmed or reactive, and respond with wisdom, compassion, and constructive action. In Buddhist practice, praise and blame are seen as part of the cycle of conditioned existence samsara, and are considered to be ultimately unsatisfactory and impermanent. Practitioners are encouraged to cultivate equanimity and non-attachment towards praise and blame, recognizing their impermanent and ultimately unsatisfactory nature. By cultivating inner peace, contentment, and spiritual virtues, individuals can transcend the influence of praise and blame and progress towards liberation, nibbana. The 8 worldly conditions illustrate the dualistic nature of worldly existence and the tendency of individuals to be swayed by attachments and aversions based on pleasant and unpleasant experiences. According to Buddhist teachings, the pursuit of worldly conditions and the attachment to their outcomes lead to cyclic existence samsara and perpetuates suffering dukkha. Therefore, practitioners are encouraged to cultivate equanimity upekkha and non-attachment viraga to these conditions, recognizing their impermanent and ultimately unsatisfactory nature. By developing wisdom punya and cultivating spiritual virtues, individuals can transcend the influence of the 8 worldly conditions and progress towards liberation, nibbana.